Hello and welcome back to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade, and we got huge news coming from Smogon front again, as Smogon has banned Mega Rayquaza from their Ubers tier, thus creating a new metagame called Anything Goes, and thus finally making Ubers an official tier. Wow, that's big. And let's start off with Mega Rayquaza, and let's actually go back a few years to time before X and Y were released, when we were introduced to the new mechanic of Mega Evolution. People were wondering how would Game Freak balance out this new mechanic, and it later on turned out you could only have one Mega Evolution per team, plus you would need to hold a specific Mega Stone in order to Mega Evolve, and thus you cannot hold a item like Leftovers for recovery, no Life Orb for extra power, none of the choice items that are ever so useful. So that's a great blow right there, a great restriction in order to try and balance them out. Of course, some of them turn out to be OP anyways, at least for the singles metagame, but at least Game Freak did something in order to balance them out. Well, fast forward back today, when Oraz has been released, Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, we got Mega Rayquaza, and it doesn't require a Mega Stone in order to Mega Evolve, and it's already superpowered to begin with. And also, you can still use the Primal Friends with it, like Primal Kyogre, Primal Groudon, because technically, because they have a different name, it's Primal Reversion, it's not Mega Evolution, although it's pretty much the same thing, let's face it. But because it's a different name, you can still use them on the same team. So Game Freak, 2 years ago, they set a couple of rules for them to balance out the new game mechanic. But then, a couple of years later, they just broke their own rules. And you can quite literally say, you know, it's really overused term when you call something broken, especially in the Pokemon world. Oh, this Pokemon is so broken, it should get banned. But Mega Rayquaza is beyond anything that we have ever seen, and Game Freak just broke the two rules that they set for themselves, and that's why I definitely think it's a good thing Mega Rayquaza got banned from their Ubers, because it's beyond anything we have ever seen. Look at these freaking stats, and it can still have that Life Orb for extra power, as if Mega Rayquaza would need extra power, but it can do that. And it also has the amazing ability Delta Stream, meaning that moves like Ice Beam don't do as much damage as they would in the past. It like halves the power done to flying types, and it has even a little bit of extra bulk too, as if it would need more of that. And it's faster, and Mega Rayquaza, it's now as strong as Deoxys attack, and it has that amazing new move called Dragon Ascent, which is basically a flying type close combat. I believe that is the only restriction that Mega Rayquaza has. It needs to have Dragon Ascent on the set, which is pretty much a must move on every Rayquaza, because we all know about bird spam in Generation 6. If you're a competitive Pokemon fan, you know about bird spam, and this just takes it to a whole new level. And Mega Rayquaza doesn't necessarily even need to run a Dragon type stab move. It can just run Earthquake for coverage, Extreme Speed for that. I guess it can provide some extra coverage as well, but it's mainly for priority, so it doesn't even need to be locking itself to like Outrage, which is amazing for it. You can still run it, definitely, or Dragon Claw too. Draco Meteor, you can go definitely mixed. 180 offensive stats with amazing bulk and also amazing new ability. That's just, it's beyond anything we have seen. I believe Mega Rayquaza has spaced a total of 780. That's the highest of all time. You could literally say Mega Rayquaza is the best Pokemon out there. So have fun going to random Wi-Fi and, trying to get some balanced battles out there with this monster running around. Plus, you can still run the Primal Friends with it, which is like, why Game Freak, why No one knows. Or I guess the only thing, you know, the mentality beyond that, you know, obviously there was never a need for Mega Evolution for like Rayquaza, but obviously that was done for marketing purposes, so Game Freak needs to apply, and you know, as long as it doesn't affect like VGC doubles, it doesn't really matter, because in VGCs, you know, all these Pokemon are banned by default, so it doesn't matter if they make Mega Rayquaza like super broken. But you know, on random Wi-Fi, I'm certain it's not gonna be too much fun out there trying to find some good battles when this monster is running around. But it's a good thing that we have the Smogon metagame, at least. I think so. But let's take a look at the Anything Goes here. There's only one clause, which is the endless battle clause, because it's really something game breaking also that I don't believe Game Freak ever really thought. I don't think Game Freak thought about that intentionally. It's just something that it's an exploit, basically, exploit within the game. That's why we have the endless battle clause, and nobody wants to be in an endless battle. So that's the only clause the Anything Goes here has. And personally, I think this Anything Goes metagame has been in the making for a long time, because over the years, you know, besides the endless battle clause, like I think another one would be Moody clause, and then there's a bunch of clauses, one-hit KO clause, there was evasion clause, sleep clause, stuff like that. There's a bunch of clauses in the Ubers, which was not the original intent of Smogon. Ubers was supposed to be the Anything Goes here, but Game Freak just kept adding more, you know, broken things to the metagame, and Smogon just tried their best to keep up with it, and they just kind of needed to make these limitations. And finally we got to this point where we are introduced with a Mega Rayquaza, beyond broken, beyond anything. The super powerful Pokemon that nobody has ever seen before. Nobody has witnessed such power from this monster, so it finally pushed too far, and Smogon has created this Anything Goes metagame, where literally anything goes, and indeed the endless battle clause is the only one. So you can run 6 Rayquazas there if you want. You can't run 6 Mega Rayquazas though, because Smogon does respect the original game mechanics, and that's just not how the game works. But you can still run 6 Rayquazas if that's your thing. And even better, you can run 6 Klefkis, because there's no swagger clause there. Oh yeah, that's another one. Oh yes, you can run 6 Klefkis there with the Parafusion swagger shenanigans. How fun is that? But you can do that in the Anything Goes tier. And something that is really interesting is going to be how in the world is the Ubers metagame going to develop from now on, now that there is banlist beyond Ubers. And something I need to mention at this point, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about the usage, and as far as I know, the tier shifts between Ubers and OU are not based on usage. So let's say one of the many Arceus forms, if it doesn't have enough usage in Ubers, it's not gonna be dropping to OU. And vice versa, if something like, well, let's say Talonflame, you can still do bird spam in Ubers, especially with this guy. But let's say Talonflame has enough usage in Ubers. It will not go Uber because of usage. So this creates really, I don't know, this is going to be really interesting to see how the metagame is going to be developing, since Ubers is now a tier, but it's not still kind of like based on usage between OU. So that is definitely interesting, and there, as it says right here, they still don't know about all the criteria, like how this thing is going to be working. But yeah, definitely interesting to see how the metagame is gonna go from now on, because Ubers was supposed to be the ban list. So, you know, of course, with this, they could be opening up the Pandora's box, and they could be more ban happy, and that could make a lot of Ubers players angry. Because several months ago, there were suspect testings, for example, for Mega Gengar, and then also for the ability Shadow Tag. Neither of those actually went through, so you can still use Shadow Tag and Mega Gengar in Ubers. They are not banned, but they were suspect tested. So not everything goes through, you know, even on the Smogon votings. But I don't know, had they had this anything goes here in place, I don't know what would have happened. Because had they banned Mega Gengar, they would kind of have to create this anything goes metagame back then, and it was just something really interesting. It would have been the first time a Pokemon would have been banned from Ubers had Mega Gengar been banned, but it did not go through. So I'm sure that was in the back of everyone's minds, but now that there is ban list beyond Ubers, I wonder how that's gonna affect the decisions of everyone who is doing the suspect test votings. I'm sure, you know, they're always good players, they're gonna more than often make the right moves, but of course, now that there is this tier or ban list beyond Ubers, I wonder how that's gonna affect people's mentality when it comes to these bans, and you know, how many more things are gonna get banned from Ubers, which is not necessarily desired. I feel like this tier was definitely anything goes. It was just forced to be created because of all the clauses, and now finally this game-breaking Pokemon known as Mega Rayquaza. But it just begs the question: is this going to open up another Pandora's box, where more things are just going to get banned? Because Ubers is still the fun metagame where, you know, almost anything goes, and now there's just the anything goes tier. So let me know in the comment section below your thoughts. What do you think about this? And I think the funny thing is, I'm sure people are gonna be complaining about this because, you know, Smogon, they ban everything, even though there's like over 700 and I believe 18 Pokemon, plus all the Mega Evolutions, Primal Reversions, and different forms and stuff like that. People are still gonna be complaining that Smogon bans everything, although they only ban like a fraction of the Pokemon. And there's still like, I want to say, over 300 fully evolved Pokemon out there, and still out of those, even then, Smogon has only banned a fraction. And now there's a new metagame, so of course there are gonna be some quick bans happening, but people will disregard all that and they will just say Smogon just bans everything. I hate them, they just ban everything. I am going to use whatever I want. But the funny thing is, Smogon has thought about that. That's why they originally created Ubers. But now it just has gotten to a point where they needed to create a tier beyond that. So they thought about that. They thought about people complaining about their rules and not wanting to play by the rules. Now they literally have an anything goes tier. So if you're complaining that you're gonna be using, I'm gonna use Mega Rayquaza anyways. Well, you can do that even at Smogon if you want, because there's that metagame for it called anything goes, and that's what Ubers used to be, and that's just something that I found so hilarious in the past, because people keep on complaining Smogon bans everything, but they have this environment Ubers where you can still use those things, but nobody talks about it, nobody brings it up. Everybody's like, oh, Smogon is just banning anything. If you're gonna be using anything, if you play just on random Wi-Fi, especially now, everybody is gonna be just spamming Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza, and that's gonna get real stale, real quick. And you're gonna be like, I'm just gonna be using anything I want. And even then, Smogon has an environment for it. But the whole thing with the usage-based tiers is that you can use differently powered Pokemon in different tiers, because Pokemon is a highly unbalanced game. Not all the Pokemon are in the same level, so something like Pikachu will never fare against Mega Rayquaza. I think it goes without saying. So Smogon has thought about this but it's just funny to me that nobody ever brings that up. But I guess I'm at this point I'm getting besides the point. So let me know about your thoughts on this ban. What could be the consequences? I am personally worried about that Pandora's box. What is going to be happening? It's going to be interesting if Smogon is going to be suspect testing like Shadow Tag again, or Mega Gengar with this new Anything Goes environment in place. And here are actually some damage calculations if you want to check them. I will leave a link in the description for this topic on the Smogon forums. I think you will find these calculations pretty devastating, to say the least. You can check them out if you want. But let me know about your thoughts on Mega Rayquaza, on the Anything Goes tier. Will it open up the Pandora's box? Will more things get banned? Will that ruin the Ubers here? It's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen in the future. But let me know in the comments below, and I will check you guys next time. Until then, this is Spade rambling and signing out. Peace!